Hi guys. Hello, welcome. Hi guys. Let me know how you've been, where you're from. Welcome. Hi guys, hello. Hi, thank you for joining. Welcome to everyone. Happy Monday. Okay, welcome. Hi guys. Hi Steve.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm all right. I got confused for a minute there because I didn't realize I have to join on the phone, not on my desktop.
Oh
So now I
yes.
know.
We
Yeah,
had someone the last event, she joined from the computer and she was like, but I can't see you. And I'm like, no, I think it only works from the phone. Yeah. So don't worry,
yeah.
it's a common, yeah.
Okay. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Yeah, I'm well. It's been an interesting, I don't know how it's been for you, but I've had a very interesting week energetically. Like I feel like there's a lot going on. And I was speaking to my friend today and like I feel like people are on a bit of a short fuse. I don't know if you've noticed that as well.
Oh, sure. I just feel the last 2 or 3 weeks have been really intense interference and I mean also nice openings, but yeah, weird dreams and healing dreams, the whole gamut of stuff, really.
Yeah, and a lot of like emotions, like people are, I'm feeling that people are a bit more volatile because they're obviously processing and dealing with more emotions. I don't know, maybe sometimes, towards the end of the year, I think people come to like realizations and the year is finishing and maybe there's stress or pressure and things like that. So, but yeah, but otherwise, things are good. I'm going into summer this side of the world, so that's quite
Oh,
nice.
we're going into winter here, autumn, winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Amazing. Do you want to just introduce yourself to the audience? Maybe tell them a little bit about yourself and what you do, and just a bit about your journey as well. That would be lovely.
Yeah, my name's Steve. I'm born in London in the late 50s and grew up a bit weird. And my parents did their best to keep me from being weird. And then I think when I was a teenager, I just realized that I had a choice of trying to be normal. I tried normal for a while, 20 years of being normal, got married, did a normal job in the city of London. And then, early 90s, I really couldn't do that anymore. I started on an intense kind of spiritual path, really. And all my waking moments was kind of following, understanding, trying to work out who I am, why I'm drawn to all the kind of alternative field. I eventually resigned from the corporate type of world in the late 90s and began working in a spiritual organization. I became a director in 2000 in London. It's a well-known one. We were hosting a lot of spiritual authors, well, a lot of the big names, I met them, which was nice, have tea with them. Like the Byron Katie's, Eckhart Tolle, and the
Oh, nice.
Neil Donald Walk, all the kind of bigger names, the A-list types, and and Marion Williamson. Mostly, I really liked them. The nice people. I had a calling to leave in the let me see, heading towards 2012. I resisted. I eventually did leave in the winter solstice 2012 after being a director for 13 years. And
Wow.
then I had a dark night for several years. And then I started this work, the soul, this soul matrix. There we are, over there. And so when my daughter asked me, Dad, what are you doing? I just say I'm just doing weird stuff because it's very hard to explain to someone who's not really in the field, because I would sound quite crazy. And, my family, 3D family, do follow me and I think they look at me and go, what the hell are you doing now, Steve? But they kind of love me enough to kind of leave me alone and not worry about it. My grandchildren, I think they have a kind of famous granddad because apparently even in the secondary school of two of them, even one of their teachers says she follows me. And so they're like, oh my God, he's famous. And so it's quite nice actually. And even when they were in the primary school, there was my daughter's best friend's husband was following me. So it's like it's kind of So they're kind of bit by bit realizing, well, he's doing something. I don't know what he's doing, but people seem to like it. I even got stopped on Brighton seafront, walking along with my son and daughter-in-law and a young granddaughter, and someone goes, "Oh my God, it's you!" And so my street cred went up, basically. So they don't
Amazing.
know what I'm doing. I'm doing weird stuff, lots of meditations, transmissions, all kinds of tracks. I did have a dream many years ago of creating an online. I had actually a dream of creating a physical library of spiritual material, but now I realize actually a digital one is much better. So I'm creating a great digital library of material, free material, mostly free, and covering all kinds of galactic ascension, star seedy stuff, basically. Yeah.
Amazing. And you started quite early. What year was it that the Soul Matrix was born?
I started my journey in 91, but this really doing this kind of work on my own business was January 2016. So I'd spent lots of years preparing, doing all kinds of weird trainings, light body surgery, all kinds of weird stuff. And then finally, I got after the dark night, I got the message, you got to start now. All of that training is over. Get going. And I don't know if any of us feel we're ready. I didn't feel completely ready, but just off you go. So I
Yes.
started, and now I mean I've got a big following on YouTube, and I've got lots of audiences in lots of places. And by and large, I'm trying to support the Starseed community around the world. And I'm not charging like loads of money. I just want to give them resources so that they'll have some resources to move forward in their lives.
That's amazing. Yeah, because when I started in 2017 putting stuff online, and your stuff had been online for like I knew of you when I
Ah.
started, and there weren't many people that I was following or that I would listen to stuff online. There were like maybe like two or three, and you were one of them. So that's why I asked. Your stuff was probably like out there for a while. Have you published any books as well?
I've published 6 books. I think the last
Amazing.
one, what's this was my last one, the Spiritual
Oh,
Entrepreneur,
there we go.
which I
Okay.
really that was when did we publish that? That was published maybe 3 years ago, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, I've got a few books out there, and yeah, so I'm kind of prolific. I did have one partner tell me once that I was married to my work, and I thought, well, you're probably right.
Married to the collective. Married to the collective.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of people I've got to look after then, do the shopping for. Yeah. So yeah.
Um,
So it's a non-stop, as you know, 24/7 non-stop dreams, working in the dream state, waking state. I mean, I do try and have a rest here and there, tea and rest. So it's important to have a
there's
rest.
we
Yeah.
always operating on some multidimensional level. Like I think it never like it doesn't stop. And we love it. Like I mean, it's amazing. I wouldn't change this for anything.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
and
quite a
I
roller
get
coaster. You're up,
yeah.
and then the next minute there's challenges. I mean, it's constantly. I mean, the challenges I embrace because I think challenge helps us grow. So the path is not without challenges. We've both been
Yeah.
challenged.
And that's what I've also learned. I really just teach from challenges and personal experience. And that's what they've said to me from higher. They're like, well, we're putting you through it so you can get through it and then show people how you got through it so that, you can help them get through it. Because you
Yeah.
can't really, I mean, there's only so much you can understand with empathy. Like if you really lived through something, then, that's a different level of integration of an experience. And then you can really teach from it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I think, so for example, I had a really strong experience of being with a narcissist for about a year and a half. And I was wondering why on earth would my higher self allow it? And I got, well, you had no idea. I basically had no idea what narcissism was. And then I had an 18-month training. And so now I can help people go, oh, I know when people say about narcissism, they got a narcissistic husband or brother or whatever. Now I know because I've lived through it. Otherwise, I'd be like, I think I know what you mean, but I don't really.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it was the same for me. I was in an abusive relationship and I was able, to get out of it and get, back on my 2 feet. And like it actually like motivated me a lot to start my business and really get into a space where I was more independent. And I help a lot of women who've just come out of that.
Yeah.
You know, and I've done programs for that as well. So yeah, it's exactly how you say it. So we've got the Galactic Conference coming up, which is on the 11th of November, and it's going to be a portal of remembrance. Do you have anything, any direction that you think you're gonna talk about? Anything in particular that you feel called to share? And again, there's no pressure. Like, this is what I always say to my, like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about literally sometimes until an hour before the conference starts.
Yeah.
So if you also are like, well, I don't, that's also fine. But if there is something that you would like to share, that's also great.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually what I will say, although I must say the two portals I find the most intense every year is the 8-8 Lionsgate, which I find I always have to rest because it's just too intense, and the 11-11. They're the two
Yeah,
that I
me too.
find the most important. The 11-11 feels more magical to me somehow, and less in the Lionsgate always feels very intense. But
Yeah.
the 11-11 feels more magical. I do want to say, I do want to address something you said earlier about the intensity of recent times, and that is, I think this entrance of this three-eye atlas, you know, people are talking all kinds of things about it, but one of the things I think about that thing is I think it's triggering, and I think some of the triggering stuff I've been experiencing in the last week or two has been linked to that when I went in meditation. So I think just like any planetary body or comet or whatever can touch us, I think that one's been an important one because I had a lot of fears come up, old fears, which I've never really, like fear around death. And I'm like, I've never been afraid of death, but suddenly I had this fear of death. And so when I tuned in, it was this directly connected to that. So that's just a by the by. So I think that's been shaking up the collective energy a bit, I think. So the 11-11, I don't know, maybe something magical because it'd be nice to, you know, help people use that energy to kind of leap forward perhaps somehow in
Yeah.
terms of their soul calling or abundance or whatever, but I'm not sure.
Sounds wonderful. And I totally agree with you with regards to 8-8 and 11-11. And thank you for saying that because this is my second Galactic Conference that I'm organizing. And the first one that I did was exactly on the 8-8. And I was tuning in earlier, actually thinking, okay, am I going to do another one earlier next year? And I was a little bit on the fence, but they were like, no, you need to definitely do again the 8-8. And what I find with the 8-8 is there is some level of disruption also of like breaking down and like rebirthing. Meanwhile, the 11-11 magical is good, and it's like a good way to describe it, and also more like people having like realizations. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, like understanding on a more deeper level, while you know the 8-8 is more like breaking apart, breaking through, breaking open, you know, like disruption, breakage, and
Yeah.
manifestation, abundance, and all of that. The 11-11, maybe because it's closer to the end. I was born on the 11 April, so 11 is also a number that's
Oh,
I'm very
okay.
are very close to. But it's interesting that you say that about those two portals, because now that it's also the ones that I actually feel the most. And I hadn't stopped and thought, okay, like, why did I do 8-8 and 11-11? Why not 10-10 or 12-12? And now that you say it, I'm like, actually, yeah, perfect sense.
Yeah, I've always been drawn to those two. As I said, the 8-8 more of a rest and the 11-11 more the magical stuff. You know, we're heading into the magic of Christmas, I suppose, a bit further on, but it just feels like a magical portal. So yeah, I don't know what we could do. I'll have to sit with it and see what kind of magic can we do with that portal.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. There you go. So yeah, guys, we have tickets available for the 11-11. The recording will be available only with ticket purchase. So ticket purchase is only available until the end of the event. There, you won't be able to buy the recording after the event. So please, you know, get it beforehand. This is a lovely conference because what I really try to do and bring is actually give like also Q&A time. So each speaker will have about 10 minutes where you guys can ask questions, okay? And I think it's really important because that can, you know, it makes it more interactive. We will be releasing the lineup about a day before, I think 24 hours before. And if you are following from Steve, you can also put his code Steve to buy tickets, and that way we can track where they are coming from. Tickets are $55. And yeah, I mean, it's about, I think, 7 hours. We start at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we finish at 6 p.m. I think there's six speakers, and then seven speakers, and then there's two people expanding and doing like short guided meditations and talking about kind of like their mission and what they bring through. Yeah, Steve, is there anything you would like to add?
No, no, I see you got a nice lineup. Debbie, Solaris, Neil, I know. I don't really know, and yourself, I know very well. I'm not quite sure. I don't really know the other speakers, but it seems like a nice lineup, and it's a great thing to do on that day. So if people want to, hang out, take the day off, and just immerse themselves into this kind of energy, it seems a great thing to do.
Yeah, and the 8H, we had like, we're going to have a lot of activations. We're going to have, I'll be channeling some light language. There'll be some people doing guided meditation. So it's already like really activating. And this was so interesting. This is what we noticed with the last one. It was almost like people started saying to us, like after they bought their tickets, they already saw their life shifting even before they actually got to the event because of how powerful, they made that contract. You make that commitment to work on yourself, to work on your ascension process, to have a greater access to all this knowledge. And once you make that commitment, you anchor into that timeline. So the work already starts. So there's so much power, even in just, buying the ticket and then, making that commitment of being there or watching the recording in your own time after. So it's really like an amazing value for the lineup of speakers. So we have what Steve mentioned, then we've got Sarah Bressman Cosme, who's she does a regression hypnotherapist. Then we've got Tony Ganzi, who speaks about the Mantis Collective. There'll be people coming in from the Conscious Life Expo speaking about their mission. And then we have our friends from the Galactic Federation of Light Apparel who will be speaking about their clothes and how their clothes like literally, assist in raising your vibrational frequency. So I think that covers most of it.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you for joining me for this live. Thank you, guys. If you have any questions for me or for Steve, you're welcome to write them in the comments below. The website is galacticconference.com. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you all there and connecting. Thank you. Bye.